The next morning, Monty said he was going to work. So, Cliff and I are going to go to the beach. We didn't have a parasol, so Cliff wrapped his pink striped parachute around his head, and he lay in the sand looking like an Arab pasha with those wicked black eyes. I noticed that he has a much better body in his bikini than those baggy shorts would have suggested. He's really quite sexy. And what I thought was matted hair is in fact curls. Tell me, what do you do with your days? He says he's going to do a television show about artists. So I ask him if he knows any artists, and he says he doesn't, that he managed to get the job and now he has to fake it. I hear myself saying, I'll introduce you to lots of artists. He smiles and he has nice teeth. Oh, Bo, we'll do the series together and your paintings can be on it. What? Right away, I have visions of artist studios with Cliff, dinners of wine and cheese with artists and Cliff, nights in bed with Cliff. Then I remember the girlfriend. Tell me, is Asha interested in art? Oh, no, he said, that's just a fling. And I noticed that his eyes are wandering around the semi-nude beach. I dive into the turquoise water, stretching and splashing. I lie on my back, and I watch the horizon coming and going through the swells, when all of a sudden, about 3 feet away, there is this head bobbing. Black hair plastered to a tan forehead. He opens his eyes and smiles. Didn't we meet on the plane? I think you had a trombone. He remembers and says his name is Ivan. Well, Cliff did the first useful thing ever and asked him to come over and sit with us. And he sat cross-legged on his red towel with the water running off his body and little rivulets between the hairs. And I thought, maybe he meditates. And nice body, not too Mr. Atlasy. Cliff was bragging that he knows John Coltrane. But Ivan said that he just does jazz as a hobby, and that what he really is a physicist come filmmaker. Apparently, he made a film at MIT about cloning, and it won an award. Then they asked him to make a film about UFOs. Well, physicist, MIT, cloning, he must be brilliant. And UFOs, really open-minded. I think he's only about 35 or 40. I mean, I can't do under 40. He's at least that. This could be a crack in the universe. Yes. I wonder if he's thinking what I'm thinking, or whether he's thinking nice older woman, probably knows people. Well, he brought his parasol over, and Cliff announced that he was feeling sick and he went home. Good. Suddenly, we were in our own little private room, our shared circle of shade. I noticed that he had a little tattoo on his leg. Tell me, what are UFOs? He said that they're little gifts from the universe, and he winked. But he said there's a lot of evidence for them. Oh, I know. Those gray, snarky beings doing nasty sexual experiments in spacecrafts. Oh, why am I flirting with this man? He's just going to break my heart. No, he said, it's really about scars. Little pieces of unknown metal implanted in people. Well, I thought the little scar on his chin was pretty cute. 6% of Americans have them, he said, and he was looking for one on my arm. Then he asked me if I have any phobias. Well, just butterflies. But I was hypnotized to get over that years ago. Actually, what happened was that I regressed to babyhood, and this huge black butterfly came at my crib. That's it, he said. I want to interview you for my film. Well, he was batting these huge brown eyes at me, and I was really feeling quite hot. Why don't we go swimming? In the water, his leg brushed mine. Tell me, what is that little tattoo on your leg? Oh, I don't know. It just appeared one day. Well, maybe you were having sex with an alien? I can smell the tuberoses way out here. If I was 20, I'd be taking off my bathing suit. But as it is, this could be something. Whoops, my turn to go water skiing. Want to come? He said. No, thanks. I can't go water skiing with him. If I sat in that boat jiggling around or on those water skis, my head would fall off. I don't think I can snow ski either. I mean, I'm practically a cripple. I can't turn my neck. I just don't understand. Doesn't anybody ever notice it? No one ever mentions it. I think it's because they must think that it's rude to mention infirmity. That night, Monty and I went to the music festival because Cliff is now getting drunker and drunker, sicker and sicker. Monty says he's lovesick and that he's really much more in love with Asha than he admits. Well, I wonder if he tells the truth about anything. So I asked Monty if he's really doing the art television show. And he said yes, he seduced the producer and he always gets what he wants from women. Well, I mean, I guess I'm on the list. I couldn't really concentrate on the music because all I could think about were the things I'm not doing. I'm not painting. I'm not having peace and quiet. I'm not on my diet. At least the swimming is good for the ankylosing spondylitis. That's getting better. But if I was having an affair with Ivan, I mean, then at least it would be fun. When we got home, I put up my easel in the dining room to prove that I'm going to work tomorrow. And Monty plugged in his computer, and it immediately blew a fuse, and all the lights went out. So we went out on the deck in the moonlight. You know, Monty, we are so much alike. You are holding on to Violetta just the way I hung on to Winston. He told me that no one would ever love me the way he did. And they probably won't. But I wanted to be an artist and search for gurus in India. And I thought I'd die of loneliness without him. Later, I realized that I could have accommodated him a little bit more and had the odd businessman to dinner. So I wrote him a letter, and I said I was sorry. But he never answered. The next day arrived along with Violetta. Tall, white skin, black hair, and the arrogant mouth of a predatory bird. She was impossibly elegant in tan slacks and a navy blue blazer despite the wilting heat. And she had on one of those raffia hats with a black ribbon I happen to know itch. Honey, isn't this bathroom rather small, she said, when I showed her their room. Well, you're not going to be in it much. It was very adventurous of you to come down for the weekend. Oh, I'm here for 2 weeks. I can't wait for that swimming pool. 2 weeks? I don't think I'll be here in 2 weeks. In a rage, I took the moke and I drove to town, screeching around the corners. And when I got down to the harbor, well, where does one find green-lipped mussels? Nothing here but yachts. I saw this old man sitting on a bench, and I said, "Je voudrais des moules avec des lèvres vertes." And he ran away. So then I went into the cafe and I demanded to see the cook. And I said, "Je voudrais des moules avec des lèvres vertes." But he just waved a big towel at me as though I was a dog. So I went into the cafe and I sat down and I ordered a Campari soda. Now, here I am, alone in a bar, drinking on my health holiday. While my house guests enjoy my house. I don't know what's happened. Maybe I'm having a lull, like a field lying fallow between crops. Or maybe I actually do want a boyfriend. I'm in someone I could be with. I mean, maybe I should ask him to dinner after everybody leaves. We could have dinner at the little metal table by the swimming pool with candles and tell each other secrets as the night steals in. I think he'd think I was the woman of his dreams. But maybe we'd make love and the bay would stretch behind us and there would be the scent of jasmine on the wind. He'd think I was his age because my body would be all smooth and tanned. Then we could go to New York. I could rent a house in Greenwich Village and I could paint in the attic and he could make films in the basement and then we could meet for lunch and have siestas. I could have dinner parties for physicists and artists and aliens and jazz musicians. We could go and live in Paris. We could have a house in Montmartre, and he could play jazz and I would paint. Well, we had adopted a child and moved to Rio by the time the waiter said, "L'addition, madame." The next day arrived with Asha in a shocking pink sari, carrying Jai, a fluffy little Maltese, which reminds me of my own little losses. I really miss them. Curled up by my bed, thrilled to see me if I've been gone for 15 minutes. Asha's quiet and exotic, and she speaks in the lilting tones of upper-class India. I can understand why Cliff is attracted to her. I just love that she is reading a book about the chakra system in 3 different religions. Now that all the girls are here, of course Monty and Cliff want to go to Samsara for dinner. Cliff said, "My treat," grandly. "It's always full of movie stars, but I know the owners." Well, the owners seem to have been under the impression that Samsara meant bliss, but Asha and I whisper, "Dinner in hell."